Okay, it's time to talk about compound intervals. That's a fancy way to say intervals bigger than an octave. Um, what we do here is, so this is a bit of terminology and a bit of like actual fact. So check it out. So here is an octave, right? Um, what interval is that? There's two ways we could think about this. One is we could reduce it and move this top note down an octave to there. That would make it an interval of a major second, F to G. But that's not where it was. It's right there. So, yes, it's kind of a major second. And yes, it has a similar feel to a major second because it's the same notes as a major second, but there's an octave in between. And that can matter. Most of the time, that can matter. So, what is it? Well, let's count up. One. Well, let's do this. Let's take it back down. Okay, if that's a second, that's a third, that's a fourth, that's a fifth, that's a sixth, that's a seventh. This is 8. This is 9. So what we actually end up on here is a ninth. A ninth is a compound interval because we can think of a ninth as an octave plus a second. Okay? Now, where things can go wrong is if you think of an octave as an interval of an eighth and then an interval of a second, and you add those together, you get a tenth, which doesn't work right. Right? Let me explain that again. Let's go over here. So here's an octave, right? If this is a seventh, then this is probably an eighth, right? And if this is a second, then I add 8 plus 2 and I get a tenth, which is wrong, right? That's not the way we think about it. What we do is we actually count all the way up from the bottom note. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We end up at ninth. The reason that it doesn't work when you literally add 8 plus 2 is that in that case, you're counting the octave twice. This note gets counted twice. So what you really do is you count, okay, so this is our 7, and then you count, this is 8, but it is also 1. And that's 2. So we really count 7 plus 2 because we can't count the octave twice in the same interval. If that's confusing, never mind. Just remember this is the interval of a ninth. It's an octave plus a second. So the ninth is a very cool sound. Let's hear. I mean, it has a similar sound as a second, but it's a little bit different. Right? It's just kind of a fun sound.